You know about it. I know about it. Your grandma has heard of it. ChatGPT. The AI that seems to do everything, and the AI that is flooding your YouTube recommendations, and I am no different. I could do some bamboozling, like, oh, the AI wrote this part, AI wrote this part. But honestly, I'm just going to say what I think, not what OpenAI would write as a script for parts of this video. And honestly, it still thinks of YouTube as how it was back in 2014. Like, this is one of the scripts. Hey there, have you ever interacted with a chatbot or virtual assistant that seemed almost human-like in its responses? In this video, we'll be talking about ChatGPT, a powerful AI technology that's revolutionizing the way we communicate with machines. ChatGPT is a chatbot AI recently made public, created by OpenAI, who also made the famous DALL-E. You probably know what it is and what it does, and it has taken over YouTube. But just in case you don't, it is an AI where you ask it to do something, and it will do it. You can ask it to write a script to a YouTube video, write some code, or write a chord progression. It can just do anything. The simplified way that machine learning, and also how AI works, is by giving it labeled training data, so that it can get an understanding of what certain things are. For instance, a text-to-image AI would have hundreds of thousands of images and artworks with a detailed description. On a much smaller and easier to understand scale, an AI that takes handwritten text and converts it to text might have hundreds of handwritten characters, so it can understand what pixels each letter use and the general shape of each letter. For a much more in-depth explanation of how machine learning works, I would watch the videos by 3 Blue 1 Brown, and that channel in general is great. In the case of ChatGPT, it was trained with many texts, from books to blogs. ChatGPT is basically an extremely advanced AI chatbot that can give adequate responses and results to anything you might want to ask it. ChatGPT literally does everything. It codes, it teaches, it writes, it gives ideas. Whatever you need, it can deliver for. And if it can't directly do something like generating images, it can tell you some other things that might help you. This is also why it has been going crazy on YouTube. A channel can use it for whatever their content is. If it could somehow always stay up to date, it would easily replace Google as a primary way of getting information. Would you rather have thousands of links to articles and web pages, or somebody explaining it to you? If you didn't already know, Bone Lab is a VR game that was released on September 29th, 2022. A year earlier, ChatGPT was trained, in 2021. For instance, it still thinks the Queen is alive, although it did warn me that it might be outdated. Before I realized it was outdated by a year, I asked ChatGPT if Bone Lab was overhyped for my previous video, and while yes, it did dodge the question, the point is that it knew what Bone Lab was. I can only assume that it knew Stress Level Zero was working on a game called Bone Lab, and I just correctly guessed what kind of game it was, or used context clues to figure out that Bone Lab must be a sequel to Boneworks, which released in 2019, and assume that it was very similar. Regardless, that is very advanced. When I say that it is the future of AI, I mean that it is much different than most current AIs. Today, most AIs in the world are extremely basic, like the aforementioned handwritten text AI, or something like Google Lens, or just detects what is in the photo. These so-called AIs are not artificial intelligence. They're just machine learning, and there's a big difference between the two. AI is always going to be machine learning, but machine learning is not always going to be artificial intelligence. ChatGPT is the first machine learning model to bridge the gap between basic machine learning and artificial intelligence. It might be pretty great, but ChatGPT is far from perfect. From the outdated training data to the need for a lot of context, the AI has many limitations. When you ask it a question, it will reply in the most generic and scripted way possible. It also tries to be kinder than those bars with the almonds, and it just does not feel like it is a person. It feels like there are sets of responses written out, and ChatGPT just fills in a few blanks, like matlinks. It is an artificial intelligence, though, as you could ask it the exact same question and get a completely different response. It only feels pre-written, as most of its training data is probably written like that. The creators also most likely wanted to make sure the AI was nice to its users, and that it uses certain wordings so it's easiest to understand. Another problem with ChatGPT is that it needs you to be very specific, or it'll give you a cookie-cutter response that does not do what you need. The key to getting ChatGPT to do exactly what you need is by being specific. Say exactly what you want. If you say to write a YouTube script, it'll be short and in a more outdated format. But if you want to have a script in a similar style to this channel, you might ask something like, write me a casual and entertaining essay about ChatGPT that covers everything from how is the future of the AI to the drawbacks of it, that is about 1,300 words. One of the most obvious and also greatest limitations of ChatGPT is that it is out of date. If it could somehow browse the internet to research things that it doesn't already know, the AI could easily replace Google, and the responses that it could give you would be much better. Another way it could fix the problem of having limited training data is by letting you add some of your own training data, which you can do with GPT-3. This did confuse me for a bit, but ChatGPT is actually based off of GPT-3, and GPT-3 is a general-purpose language model, while ChatGPT was altered to be more well-suited to chatbot applications as it was trained with more conversational data. GPT-3 is better for most purposes and is much more powerful than ChatGPT, but is more expensive and harder to use. ChatGPT is much better for what most people have been doing with it, talking to it and asking it to do things. There have also been various leaks about GPT-4, which is said to blow ChatGPT and GPT-3 out of the water. A parameter is something that contributes to how good an AI is. GPT-3 and inherently ChatGPT both have 175 billion parameters, but GPT-4 is rumored to have up to 1 trillion parameters, which is insane. However, that does not mean GPT-4 will be better than ChatGPT. ChatGPT will still be better for talking to like everyone else is, but a cross between ChatGPT and GPT-4 would be the best. The title of this video and the most deep and thought-provoking part: what ChatGPT means for the future of AI and the entire world. Some people might say that when AI like this become more prevalent in the future, where they do so many tasks for humans, that humanity will forget how to do things for themselves and will become incredibly lazy. But I would say otherwise. I believe that extremely advanced AIs like ChatGPT will move humanity to the next stage. It would be the next advancement going in the history books next to the invention of computers. AI will empower humanity to advance and improve faster than it has before. This is because AI, similar to ChatGPT, will improve the efficiency of humanity by doing boring, simple tasks for humans, while humans are left to innovate. For instance, instead of spending hours typing code out, you get the AI to do the actual implementation of the ideas, while you are left to push the boundaries of what is possible. AI does not make humans lazy, but rather, it increases the efficiency of humanity and gives them more time to innovate and create new things. Don't be afraid of AI. Yes, it will change the world, but in an amazing way.